Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you are planning a stroll through those whole areas crawling with hut-dwelling types who would be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards, unless you don't drink water, Cor. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry, about the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here. They grow on a bush that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn. So I hear. Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much. Not if you hurry about your business. And not if the weather holds up. This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a beowick, born out of the ether. They don't got Audra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like... It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some... The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul. Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot. Not like most of this lot. But you... Kalisha. Kalisha! He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't...
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle...
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Certainly. I can get it to spill its secrets. I can get it to spill its secrets.
What you need?
Anyone need supplies? I've got sundries for sale. Brought a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road. Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic traveling supplies for sale if you'd like to...
It's done.
What you need?
Yes.
What you need?
Yes.
With Pillars of Eternity, we strive with every level to both evoke the essence of the beloved Infinity Engine games, as well as introduce something new and engaging for players to experience in the world of Aora. The Caravan Encampment was no exception to this goal. As the introduction area and the first impression of Aora has to offer, it really needed to speak to the player from the get-go. Keeping in mind this principle, we needed to begin the game with an image that instilled simultaneously the feeling
We'll
of
have your
adventure
water soon
players may
enough.
be familiar with
Stream's not
from a
going
Dungeons
anywhere.
and Dragons setting, while introducing them to our own unique world. The idea of a caravan huddled around a flickering campfire both seemed
Let's check
familiar
by
and
those
befitting
outcroppings.
as the humble beginnings to a grand adventure. By setting the scene before a large ancient ruin with peculiar stone-like objects growing from the ground, we felt this would introduce them to some of the key landmarks of the Deerwood.
We shouldn't stray too far.
Another principle in our design was non-linearity. Pillars of Eternity is a game about choice and consequence. We didn't want our introduction to feel like an entirely guided experience, so we opted to keep the flow of the level pretty open to exploration. Once the player has finished speaking with their demo, they are free to wander around the immediate area and examine their surroundings, even find clues that foreshadow their inevitable ambush, a situation that very quickly teaches the player the concept of consequence in our world.
Oh?
This is it.
Silence surrounds me.
What a surprise. Sparfle went hunting. At least he left the water skins. Come on. Sparfle? Are you all right? Ambush! What you need?
Certainly.
Come on, we have to get back to camp.
Oh? Shh. Now here's something.
What you need?
Yes.
How can I help?
Get inside! Run!
Was that?
A Buick. Had to be.
Then we're lucky to be alive.
And we're the only ones.
We can't stay here. There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get...
That should be far enough. But what now?
We look for another way out. Storm has to die sometime. Someone else has been here. We should move.
The ruin of Sealant Liss was a daunting dungeon to design, but also very gratifying, as this was our chance to set the bar for our dungeons throughout the game. This was also one of the later dungeons designed during development. Oftentimes the beginning of the game is of the last content you end up producing. This is to ensure all the systems needed to make the experience fully fleshed out are implemented and functional so they can be taught to the player properly during this first moments of gameplay. Thus, by the time this dungeon was designed, we had learned many valuable lessons about the ways we could push the layout and flow of a dungeon, as well as utilize all systems in the game that at this point had been fully fleshed out. We also felt in many RPGs the starter dungeon often felt like a bland guided experience intended on cramming tutorials down the player's throat. We certainly didn't want Sealant Liss to repeat such a formula. We didn't want the player to be completely unfamiliar with the game's core mechanics either. That being said, we opted to have a very open-ended experience for the player. Each route the player takes in the dungeon will introduce them to yet another mechanic or feature in this game, whether it be detecting traps, scouting, or the use of scripted interactions, but neither is dependent on the other. The player has a choice here to choose their playstyle and be rewarded for it. The reward will then reinforce the value of this mechanic, while simultaneously teaching the player the role it plays in Pillars of Eternity.
Silence surrounds me.
Wait. Do you hear that?
Certainly.
That looks weak. Could be a shortcut.
I could scout ahead, see what's around the... I could scout ahead, see what's around the corner.
Yes.
Fresh air in here. I think we found an exit. Sounds like the storm path, too.
Certainly.
Spot on!
Certainly.
Was that?
A Buick. Had to be.
Then we're lucky to be alive.
And we're the...
We can't...
Certainly. Shh. Yes. Now here's something. To whispers and shadows.
Look at the tiles. What are those symbols?
Oh?
Those symbols. Just like the tiles.
Yes. Certainly. Oh?
Where'd that slime come from?
Certainly. Sharp eyes and keen ears. Oh? Yes.
What you need?
How can I help?
This is it for me.
Certainly.
Finish them!
Oh? Silence surrounds me. Yes.
Oathbinder, bear witness, and see this man has kept his word, true to his last breath, full to his blood's last drop. Guy, your brother has done his part, and you have seen the power of his contribution. I will accept no further hesitation from the rest.
Oh? Yes.